Soul Garden. Live, love, be.
Good morning from my smartphone to yours. I'm Caston Love from the school campus of the University of California, Berkeley in Berkeley, California. And this is your Monday Namaste Today. Good morning and namaste, and welcome to Namaste Today. I'm your host and spiritual life coach, Christopher Witecki. My modality is psychic astrology, and my personal mission is to stand in my heart and help the world stand in theirs. Hello, my friends. Welcome back from the weekend. This webisode is for Monday, February 8th, 2016. And over Super Bowl weekend, the Great Human Walk has arrived to stepº19 Aquarius. Hello, it's so nice to be back. I've had a fabulous weekend here in San Francisco, and let me be the first person and maybe the only person to say to you, Happy Lightcast Day. Early this morning, the sun and moon came together. This is the new moon, and even the pagans knew this, that this is the most fertile day in a 30-day cycle to kind of set new intentions in your life. So really, it's the frequency we kind of went to bed with last night that we woke up with, but what you be today is what comes, so be conscious of what you are being. Now, that said, let's do today's daily vibe. Today's vibe is sunny and quite fertile, in my opinion. I think our heart is loving what we are doing today, and if you're not loving what you're doing, that could be a problem. Again, you want to really put your heart behind what you want to do. So even if you have to do something today, because we are manifesting and we are setting a frequency for the full year, you want to make sure you're doing something that you love. Now, how we feel today is alien. We are in Lightcast Day. The moon is in Aquarius. And so our heart and emotions are really kind of hard to separate. They pretty much go hand in hand. And because it's Aquarius, I think everyone is feeling a little out there, a little bizarre, a little strange. This is probably the most unique, maybe the most isolated a person can feel in the entire year. This is the farthest away you can get from Leo, one's heart. So it can be a cold, it can be a weird day. Now, what are we receiving? We're receiving the new rules. We're opening up now. Venus is also manifesting, so it's really a double manifestation. For those of my personal Sensei service, I've been talking about really turning two corners. On the one hand, we're manifesting in Capricorn, which are the new rules. In the other, we're manifesting in Aquarius, which is the high point, or what we're aiming to belong. So it's a double manifestation day, and I think people are feeling that. Now, what are we thinking about? Well, we're thinking about the mastermind. Mercury's at step 23, so we're all trying to mastermind our life today. We're all trying to get on top of someone else. I wouldn't be surprised if all the politicians, particularly the Republicans, all try to mastermind and out-talk each other today in sound bites. Everyone's trying to mastermind and get their mind around where things are going so that people can feel grounded and feel okay with stuff. But our egos are ready to enforce boundaries. In fact, Mars is at step 18, Scorpio. That means most people are getting really no, how do I put this? There's no leeway for making stupid mistakes anymore, basically. With Mars at step 18, people who do something that they know they shouldn't do, once again, are probably going to get burned. This is also a time where people are feeling the burn in the sense that people have been there, they've done that. Mars in this late Scorpio degree is a degree that says, do not cross this line or you will die. So we're all masterminding, and we're all at the same time had enough when it comes to one emotional boundary or many. And that's it. You should honor that. So today's joy question, you choose to accept it, is be what you desire to come, because it is Lightcast Day. So whatever you be, the whole universe kind of, I think, law of attraction or vibrates more in this sun, new moon thing. Now, the truth is, we can go into it forever, but in essence, when you take the sun, which is your heart, and your emotions, and you put them together, and they both go behind the same intention, really, that's where you make the most pronounced wave of cause that creates the most pronounced effect. So today, what you be is what comes. What you be will create a cause, whether you like it or not. So be the highest frequency you can be. So let's move on to today's topic and give you a little bit of scope of what we're moving into here in the third decan of Aquarius. Today's topic is manifesting the new age. And what I mean by that is how to normalize alien ideas. And that's where we're coming to. First I want to say a shout out to all the people that came out to San Francisco Love Fest over the weekend. I really loved each person. And one of the themes that kind of came up, I found just connecting with viewers for the first time in person, was people really curious about my knowledge of Atlantis, and they were curious about my knowledge of the age of Aquarius. And I was flattered, actually, to share, and it made me think to myself, I think especially in Aquarius we should start to talk about that. And I think especially now, because I think this is a very interesting lifetime. I don't think this is the average lifetime of a human being. And I think Aquarius is the only part that is unique and original in the whole 12-sign zodiac to our lifetime than other lifetimes. That we have this Aquarius vibration truly opening up, or the state of awareness of what I call I belong. But first, before we get into that, let me first ask you today's 5 o'clock question, which is kind of designed to help you understand where I'm going for here. The first one is, try to think today, what is the most unique part of your personality? What is the most unique part of your personality? And the follow-up, how do you intend to share your unique gifts? You may not even. You maybe didn't intend to share until I just put pressure on you. So, I'll answer this myself just because I think it leads into the whole topic. What's the most unique part of my personality? I don't know. I think, honestly, it's my ability to comprehend. People may say I'm great on camera. People may say, but really, I think I have this amazing ability to just comprehend something in a way that can translate it in many ways. So, to me, that's my unique gift. How do I plan to share my gift? In many ways. I do it in readings where I can comprehend a chart. I do it on camera where I can comprehend the vibration. But I'm also a filmmaker, and I'm writing my own films, so I think only sometimes what I comprehend can be discussed in a film. I think it kind of depends on the dimension and level of it. Now, why these directions, and why am I asking you about your gifts? Well, frankly, I think that if you are watching this show, first of all, you're already a little different than the average Joe or Jane. Okay, I'm just going to say that right now. I'm not saying that because the people I met this weekend, they're very normal. I'm just saying that the people who watch this show, we are definitely keeping an eye out. And a lot of the my clients I have found doing readings after I meet a viewer and they get a reading and I get to know their soul, many of my clients are actually from Atlantis, and they have reincarnated at this time. And they have reincarnated this time to share their gifts. And I think it's no accident. And we got into this story over the weekend when I was meeting with the viewers in San Francisco Love Fest. We had a great time talking about it, too. I mean, there's a lot to talk about. But in essence, Atlantis, I believe, I don't think it was called Atlantis for the record. That's part of the reason why it's not in record. But I think that was Socrates' or whomever's word for it. But there was an ancient civilization. It was crystal-based, and many of our souls who are alive on the planet today were alive during Atlantis. Many of the souls who are alive today really fought in the Crusades or worked really hard when Christ came, and so the people who've been here since Atlantis seem to be really tied to spiritual evolution and tied to certain magic. Now, I bring all this up because meeting with my fellow viewers and friends over the weekend made me realize that the time has come. That if you feel like you're here to share a special gift, as your sensei and as your astrologer, I think the time has come. I think it's time for the light walkers to begin to think about how they're going to share their gifts. And if you're not clear on what your gift is, it's the most unique portion of your personality. The one thing that you don't see anybody has but you. That's the start of your gift. Now, I'll put out a couple of notes. I just want to get you thinking for the week. There's a lot of evidence that shows the world is waking up. The world doesn't always pay attention to it. But if you read literature, if you're well-read, if you went to college and you read all the fine minds, or at least had the tour you get in college, you'd know that nobody talked about past lives ever. The idea that we are remembering our past lives and integrating them, with the exception of India and the Vedics, okay, which is a whole different line of understanding, and maybe some ancient Chinese culture, but I think it's been lost. Certainly Tibetan culture, which is, again, that same region, those regions have past life memories, and they talk about past lives, and they have kept it alive. But our other side, the rest of Western culture, zero. We've been pretending like we live only one life since Christ got crucified, and that was the part of the fear. So my point is, everywhere people are integrating, people are awakening, and this is the first lifetime that you are remembering your multi-lifetime story. That's a true awakening, and that gives you a new perspective for the future of the world. The other thing I want to point out was that I think it's now time for the Lightwalkers to begin to develop their gifts, and I think you're going to have two different folds in society, and this is looking at Saturn and Sagittarius. A portion of society is going to go off and they're going to basically get hurt from ignorance. Now that's just what all kindergartners do because they don't know. They get hurt from ignorance. They go rushing out there and they do. And that's okay. And I've been that kindergartner and I've gone out and I've gotten hurt. Okay. Then I think another faction of Saturn and Sagittarius is going to be what I call the Great Remembering. And I believe that the people that have been here since Atlantis and who've been here through the Christ times and who are now waking up to all of their lifetimes, I think that while some of the world's off fighting politics and fighting over economy, I think Lightwalkers are remembering who they are and preparing themselves as elders for society. So I put out to you, which side are you on and which side do you think you're going to go? The very last thing I want to share with you came to me from one of my readings in the last week, which I just wanted to share. I had no idea about this. But my client said that she went and studied in Indian ashrams and that they took her thumbprint and that your thumbprint actually is the same thumbprint from past lives. One of them, if you're a man, it's like your right. If it's your woman, you're like a left, I think. I'm not quite sure. But what was fascinating, I had never heard this, was that you can actually go to these records in India and find your thumbprint and see your cycles of incarnation. I just thought that was fascinating, and as a Lightwalker, I wanted to share that information. So, I believe, as we start this week and we move into the higher frequencies of Aquarius, that with a lot of these bottom boundary emotional lines in place with Scorpio, with a lot of us over our fears and our basic dogma of Earth and survival and fight, flight, and all this stuff, that we are truly coming to the point where it's time for the new age to awaken. And if you are a person that resonates with this in your heart, which I know the viewers I saw in San Francisco are, and other people I'm going to see, I just want to say, as your sensei, I think it's time to get started. But before you do, let's take a look at the planets and give you an affirmation in the Zen Den. And welcome to the Zen Den. And before we get started, let's take 3 breaths and connect to our spirit, and I'll ask my guides as well what's going on in the heavens. Okay, and I have an affirmation today for Lightcast Day, something to help you manifest, and it is as follows. I love and trust the frequencies to which I now subscribe, and so it is. I love and trust the frequencies to which I now subscribe. Now, if you've studied with me in class, one-on-one, in readings, you know that I always say never change a manifestation during Lightcast Day or that final hour. You're better off manifesting the wrong person, wrong event, and throwing them back than you are stopping your magic and feeling like you're not competent or can't. So today, really, we're committing to the frequencies that we've already subscribed to, and we're surrendering to those frequencies that we've already subscribed to. All right? So let's take a look at the planets today and talk about what's going on. Now, for starters, the sun and moon come together today for Lightcast Day. That's the first most significant and powerful note. That's literally emotion and heart. That's how this works. And the pagans knew this as the new moon. If you don't know what the new moon is, well, tonight if you look up in the sky, you'll see no moon, no matter what side of the earth you're on. That's the new moon, a totally dark moon, no moon in the sky, and that is a blank palette from which to create. Now, that is the said. On top of that, it's step 19. How's that for step astrology? This is where I really was convinced as a step astrologer. 19 adds to a 10, which means I manifest. So on the day of I manifest 19, we also have the sun crossing the moon. Now, some other headlines. Venus, this is what I meant by the double manifestation. Venus is also at step 19, but step 19 Capricorn. So as we love and trust the frequencies that we subscribe to in Aquarius, we're at the same time manifesting some sort of Capricorn agreement or some type of Capricorn arrangement. Now take a look at Mercury. Mercury is at the Grandmaster Mercury step of step 23. And if you study with me a long time, you know that when we manifest in a step 23 day, that means we have masterminded. So today everyone is trying to mastermind, trying to get on top of and put out their big plan. And I would even bet that over the weekend with that last Republican debate that you'll see a lot of the Republicans trying to dog each other today on Monday, trying to outmaster each other. But this will be the last mastermind because we're moving on now into the higher frequencies of Aquarius. But when I went into my guides just now and asked what I should talk about, Spirit said, bring up Saturn. Saturn is at step 14 of Sagittarius. And what's interesting is I've always kind of been assuming that the Saturn energy was about being responsible about our beliefs. And when it comes to our beliefs, I just assumed our beliefs about Aquarius, our beliefs about, Capricorn as we went through it. But what Spirit told me was it's time to be decisive about our beliefs with Mars. In other words, our boundaries. So my guides were saying that people really may not know where they're going with frequencies. People may not know exactly what they're manifesting. People may not even have a clear mastermind. But you should be extremely clear on what your beliefs are, about what your emotional limits are. So in any case, in any day, if you have any skepticism, be clear on where your emotional boundaries are. If you know you can't emotionally handle that or won't, don't. Because a lot of that, says Spirit, is going to be what charges us forward. Now, the last point I brought up was Mars. Mars is at step 18. That's a Grandmaster Mars because 1 + 8 makes 9, and that's what Mars rules. So that means we have Mercury at Grandmaster today, and we have Mars at Grandmaster today, unlike Cast Day. That means that the vibrations that we are being dedicated everywhere in their highest form. Now, Mars at step 18 means it's time to decide and act on the emotional boundaries you believe in. There's absolutely no room for discussion here. There's absolutely no room for negotiation or compromise. If someone doesn't understand your boundary, they don't belong near you. And that's what the Aquarius vibration is. It's not a boundary dispute. It's a don't belong there dispute. The only last thing I'm going to point out is Black Lilith. And if you guys don't know, Black Lilith represents an emptiness inside of us that usually is fear or rage from a past life. But when it's live in the current planets right now at step 18 Libra, it means that we are working out our fears. And with step 18 Libra, this is basically telling me as an astrologer that everyone is afraid of making the wrong commitment and action, which is Mars at 18, right? Everyone's afraid of taking the wrong action with themselves, Libra, or in relationships. Now, just because you're afraid of making the wrong action doesn't mean you're going to be actually afraid or have a reason to be afraid. But be advised, I think everyone is afraid of screwing it up, and there's no way around that. All right, let's wrap up today. I do want to do a couple of shout-outs. First of all, I want to say thank you to everyone who came out to San Francisco. We had people that drove over an hour and a half, almost 2 hours to come down, and total travel time, plus it was crazy. So I really appreciated meeting everyone. I felt very close to each person I met, and I will be doing a Love Fest Los Angeles on Saturday evening, February 20th. I'll also be posting the pictures from the wonderful fans and hugs and viewers and lightwalkers that I met in San Francisco on my website at soulgarden.tv. I encourage you to come on down and leave your comment if you want. And for those who are watched over my personal Sensei service, today I'm going to start talking about little sprouts you should see manifesting in your life. So because we're in a manifestation day of Aquarius, people are starting to actually sprout their Leo needs. So look in your text. We'll be talking about where you should be seeing new sprouts of love as evidence in your life. If anyone would like to try my Sensei service, by the way, visit seriousjoy.me. All right, friends, that's all I have to kick off the week. I am so grateful to be of soul service to you. Stay in your heart, shine bright, and remember, what you be is what comes in the next 24 hours. So be your brightest. Remember, I love you, and live, love, be.